And because they don't move their feet, because they're not big runners, I generally speaking just let them do that. Right? I've even gotten to the point so that, and this is 100% to make me feel better, I've stopped calling them. And I'll just say, wait. And that way, if I'm out in public and I go, hey, wait, and they stop, people are like, look at how well trained that dog is. That's a true story. Yes, I am telling all today. Confessions of a Dog Trainer. Today on the podcast, we are going one level deeper. Last week, we talked about the secret sauce. This time, we're talking about the secret sauce for your dog's unique dogonality. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. Hey there, friend. Do you ever feel like your dog is just, wired a little differently? Like no matter what training you've tried, they're still skittish, stubborn, or reactive? Well, that's because your dog has a unique dogonality. Yes, that is a thing. And I created a free dogonality quiz to help you better understand how your dog thinks, feels, and learns. It's fun, it's quick, and the insights might just change everything about how you live and love your dog. So go take that quiz right now at beyondobedience.ca/quiz and be sure to tell me what you got inside the Facebook group. I'll see you there. Well, hello, my dog-loving friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Oh my goodness, I'm starting off strong. It's a hot mess in here today in the podcast studio. But I did it. I got everything set up, and I think we're here. So let's just get to it. Hey, if you enjoyed last week's podcast about the secret sauce, what it takes to live with 19 just good dogs, the story of how I somehow managed that while running boarding, daycare, and raising 3 kids and all of the like without doing any training. I opened it up last week with that one. I gave away all the secrets to that. But today I wanted to take it a little bit further. Let's go one little level deeper on this. So if you haven't already taken the dogonality quiz, I'm going to urge you to stop right now and take that quiz. Okay? I just mentioned it at the very beginning of this episode. I want to say it again. Go to beyondobedience.ca/quiz. That's beyondobedience.ca/quiz. Take that quiz, okay? Remember to take the quiz as if you haven't done any training. If you're someone who's done some training with your dog, I want you to think about before you did the training when you're answering those questions, because we're trying to figure out your dog's like innate dog, like who they are at their core, like their inner dogginess. We want to bring all that back out to the surface, because today I wanted to talk about the secret sauce. So that's how we're getting one level deeper. We're talking about the secret sauce of how you can build an extraordinary, special connection and bond with your unique dogonality based on everything you learned in the previous episode, all the stuff about the foundation of relationship, partnership, whatever you want to call it, that important key foundational block of leadership and relevance and fulfillment, the thing that makes us connect to our dogs at a dog level. Once you get that, now we're going to take that information and we're going to apply it directly to each of the different dogonalities. So if you haven't taken the dogonality quiz, you can pause me right now. Won't hurt my feelings too much. I might cry a little that you haven't already taken it, but you can take that right now and then come back to this episode, because this is going to be a series. I haven't figured out, what are we going to call the series? Like the dogonality series, like the secret sauce dogonality series. Yeah, I've really put a lot of thought into it. It's the secret sauce of each Dogonality. But regardless of what we call this series, it's going to be a 4-part series. We're going to talk about each single Dogonality per episode, and I'm going to break down the secret sauce to the heart of that dog. Because of that Dogonality, I want you to really start to take what you learned in the last episode. How do we apply it to our particular dog? So for this, I'm just going to do a really quick recap for those who have maybe taken the quiz, but maybe perhaps you just got the answer and you don't know about the other Dogonality. So very, very quickly. Okay. This is a fun little quiz that I created. It's based off the work that I did with natural horsemanship. So I have to give credit to Pirelli, because they have the horseanality stuff. And I basically used that framework, but then changed it to be for predators instead of prey and kind of tweaked it a little bit to kind of fit into a dog model. I really, really like it because it allows us to see dogs in a different way. And sometimes I think we need that, especially because honestly, I truly believe that right now the dog training industry is broken. And we're just inundated with so much conflicting and arguing and all of that stuff that sometimes I think we just need to shelf all of that and we're going to look at the dogs in a different way. And that's Dogonality has helped me to do that and helped my students to do that. So very, very quickly, picture, if you will, an XY axis. Okay. So we're looking at a quadrant. I should have prepared more. I told you I'm a hot mess today. Be prepared for this insanity. I couldn't figure out how to get my mic to work today. That's the kind of day I'm having. But I was really excited to do this series. So here we are. All right. So we have left brain and right brain. Okay. Left brain simply means the thinking side of the brain. Okay. Now, again, I always like to say this because somebody usually comes into my comments and says, well, that's not really how the brain anatomy is. And I know that. I know the amygdala. I know the prefrontal cortex. I know all of that. I just don't want to get it too complicated. This isn't an anatomy lesson. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So think about it just very simply. Left brain, right brain. Left brain is the thinking side of the brain, and the right brain is the instinctual side of the brain. Inside the instinctual side of the brain is all of our survival stuff, fight, flight, avoidance, all of that stuff. Prey drive is there. All of that stuff is in the right side. The left side is the thinking side. That's the side that accesses English as a second language or your dog training, AKA your obedience, okay? So those times when you're saying the words and the dog isn't responding, there's a good chance they flipped over to right brain. They're not being bratty or mean or, it always makes me upset. As a sidebar, it always makes me upset when I hear trainers go, your dog's really being really bratty or snotty or whatnot. And I'm just like, sometimes they can't hear you. Sometimes they literally can't hear you because they flipped over to the right side of their brain. They can't access English as a second language when they're instinctual. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. The point is, left brain, right brain, thinking versus instinctual. Then I want you to think about the other axis as being introverted or extroverted. And very simply, to think of it this way, introverts don't like to move their feet and extroverts like to move their feet. Very, very simple. Left brain, right brain, introvert, extrovert. Okay. When you take the quiz, you will get a diagram of how we've broken it down. And if you're inside the Living Beyond Obedience Facebook group, that's the free Facebook group. We've had a lot of discussion about that. I think I am going to be putting some things in the guide so that you can find your information easily in the group, but it's all there. So once you take the quiz, you'll get an email series that explains it all. You'll have all this information. You can download it. It's all there for you. Okay. So today, I'm going to actually start off by talking about the left brain introvert, or as we like to call them, the calm thinker. The left brain introvert is the thinking dog that doesn't like to move their feet. So who are these dogs? What kind of dogs are these? These are deep thinkers. These are dogs that are cautious decision makers, would be another way to put it. They tend to avoid action unless they're really convinced, right? They have a what's in it for me attitude. And they often are mistaken for being lazy or stubborn or aloof, right? That's kind of these dogs. Now, for me, inside of my pack, we actually do have some LBIs, and they are our beautiful, lovely Newfoundland dogs. If you haven't had a chance to meet my Newfoundland dogs, I think every single person that meets them says that they want to take them home. Why? Because they are calm, they are not jumpy, they are just snuggle pusses, they're lovely, lovely dogs. They don't cause me really any grief because they're lovely, lovely dogs. And one of the things that I think is important for anybody that has a calm thinker or an LBI is that I often refer to these dogs as the overlooked dogs, right? Because they don't move their feet, their disobedience is often invisible. What do I mean by that? I've shared this example, and I'm like the first person to admit that I fall into this category as an LBI owner. Okay. I've shared this story before, but like I've often told people that my Noof's idea of a recall, if I call them and they're like, you're coming this way anyway, they'll quite often just stop and wait for me. Now, technically, from an obedience point of view, they didn't actually complete the task, right? Like they didn't actually do the thing I asked them to do, but I will quite often be okay with that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm heading that way anywhere. And because they don't move their feet, because they're not big runners, I, generally speaking, just let them do that. Right. I've even gotten to the point so that, and this is 100% to make me feel better. I've stopped calling them and I'll just say, wait. And that way, if I'm out in public and I go, hey, wait, and they stop, people are like, look at how well trained that dog is. That's a true story. I just stopped calling them because honestly, if I was out there calling them and they just were like, now I'll wait for you to get here, I would look like a fool now, wouldn't I? You see how I adapted my style to accommodate them? But the reality of it is because the Noofs don't give me any trouble, because they're not running up to other dogs, because they don't really want to, because they're not jumping up on people, because that would be a lot of energy, because they're not doing those things, my standard or my level of expectation for compliance on basic obedience is pretty slim. Like it's pretty low. Like I don't ask a lot of them, right? So unlike their louder, more extroverted counterparts, we let that slide. We let it go under the radar. And it's just simply because they're not really going to do anything. So many people unintentionally abdicate leadership without even realizing it. Now, the thing is, here's the thing. I know I'm doing it, right? I know I'm doing it. Like I know when I get to a point and my dogs are really not listening to me or they're really blowing me off or not paying attention, I will then go, okay, it's time for me to re-engage in the leadership scorecard, right? Like I have to kind of re-engage in that, right? Because the quiet no still counts as a no. It still counts in the leadership scorecard. They got the point. They got me to move my feet to go to them instead of the other way around. They 100% get the points all the time. They also get a boatload of points just because they're adorable. Okay, like honestly, they get a boatload of that. But they get the points. So the bottom line is that many people over time don't realize how many of those little tiny moments where they decide, you don't have to, those add up. Those add up. And it comes into play when it's important. It comes into play when you need to say to them, I'm a leader, I'm somebody worth following. They'll go, no, you're not. Right? No, you're not. It matters. It matters if they're stressed or if there's a challenge or something comes up, or if you ever, God forbid, have to get them to move their feet, they're not going to do it, right? Because they've already decided that you're not somebody worth following. And I see it all the time. Here's the other issue with in my opinion, what a lot of people with LBIs have. The other issue with them is the fulfillment dilemma, right? So we know, again, 3 foundations of relationship: leadership, relevance, and fulfillment. Fulfillment being the trifecta. In my opinion, it's the trifecta of relationship. If you nail fulfillment, you do it where you're being relevant to the dog and you're also applying some leadership in there and you're being a part of it, all that good stuff. It's the trifecta of relationship. It's what dreams are made of when it comes to dog ownership, right? But a lot of LBIs, their fulfillment isn't very loud and not as obvious, right? Like when I look at my Noof, I'm like, if someone were like, what's their fulfillment? I'd be like, hanging out with me. Like their fulfillment is just hanging out with me. But the reality of it is that the Noofs are a working breed. They're water rescue dogs. They do actually have a desire to work. They also will very quickly become couch potatoes if you let them. So we can easily sort of default to sloth-like behavior. Am I speaking about me? Yes. We can easily defer to sloth-like behavior, hang out on the couch and watch Netflix and chill and think that this is true fulfillment. And while our dogs, our LBIs, might not complain about that because they too don't like to move their feet, it's not really their fulfillment. Ouch, it's not really their fulfillment. So when we assume they don't need that much, that's a dangerous assumption. Right? And if we can't really uncover their unique fulfillment, we miss out on a powerful opportunity for that relevance and a deeper bond and connection. So we really do have to ask ourselves, what really lights my dog up? When do I see my dog really, really light up? Because those missed moments mean missed relationship points. So maybe it's scent work. Maybe it's quiet time. Maybe it's solving a gentle challenge. I don't know. I've mentioned before, my Noofs do like to rescue me. Nigel will pull me out of the ocean. He'll grab my hand and walk me out of the ocean. And I'm like, there it is, that spark. He wants to rescue me. But fulfillment is a bridge to relevance, and relevance is what keeps your connection strong. That's the main thing. So this is the hard part of the LBIs. This is where it gets challenging to create that connection. So what is the secret sauce? It's a shame that we're sticking with secret sauce. That I just didn't have it in me to come up with something way more creative than that. So now we're just going to have to go with it. It's the secret sauce. Is that the secret sauce to the LBIs is actually subtle leadership, right? LBIs really need you to prove that you are worthy of it. You are worthy of coming back to. You are worthy of being followed by them, right? And they're going to test that. They're going to test that with stillness and silence. And sometimes that is going to mean, said with a sigh, you're going to have to go get them, or you're going to have to go get off the couch. I mean, the amount of times where I'll be like, hey, I'll be sitting on the couch. I'll be like, hey, don't do that. And I'll be like, nah, you're not really bothering anybody. I just let it go. It might mean that you have to get off the couch, right? You might have to follow through. You don't have to be angry at them. This isn't a follow through like I said now, but more of a like, how can I get you? Here would be my challenge to you if you have an LBI, because this is how I challenge myself. Can I get my LBI to move their feet in a joyful way? Can I get, if I can get a recall of my Noofs where they're going, in a jog, forbid a run. Can you imagine a run? If they actually ran, that would be everything. So that's my encouragement to you. Can I get them to move their feet? Because if you can find some way to inspire them to be like, I am so friggin' awesome, that you want to not only come back to me, but maybe put a little pep in your step. Maybe kick it up a notch. Maybe just give it a little more oomph, right? If I can get that, then I know I'm getting somewhere, right? So that's kind of that's going to be my biggest tip. If you can get that, find a way to get that. I don't know what that is. Maybe that means you have to be more animated, right? Maybe because I'll tell you right now, my dogs don't even run to me. My LBIs won't run to me even if I'm holding a treat. My other dogs will run to me if I hold a treat. And I use treats very rarely. But even my LBIs, my noofs are kind of like, yeah, we'll get there when we'll get there. And you know what? You'll probably still give me a treat. And they're right. Right? They're right. That's the thing. So this week, I want you to pay attention to what you're letting slide. Okay. Maybe start thinking about that leadership scorecard. If you don't know what that is, you should have got that if you joined my email list. That should have come out to you, but we're going to be putting all that stuff inside the free Facebook group. So you can pick that up there as well. But maybe just pull out your leadership scorecard a little bit. Just start to pay attention a little bit more. Start to think about what things are you letting slide? When are you saying, it's fine, or you're fine? Choose one or two of those micro conversations and follow through, right? When you ask them to come back when they're called, get them to come back when they're called and put a little pep in their step. Be really animated, be really joyful. And then if they do it, if they put a little pep in their step and they're like, yeah, I want to come see you. Then when they get there, you better have the best celebration. You better kick it up a notch, right? Remember that our dogs mirror our energy. So a lot of that is just going to help with you just being animated and energized and really excited about something, because they're always watching. And when you start to show up consistently, when you start to follow through consistently, they'll start showing up too. You'll start etching those little notches on the leadership belt where they'll go, you're somebody worth following. I see what's in it for me. You're a pretty awesome person. And for the record, that is what's in it for them. When your LBI is like, what's in it for me? I want you to think to yourself, me, I'm in it for you because I'm awesome. I'm awesome fun to hang around. I'm awesome fun to go on adventures on. Me. I am the reason and the reward in your life. So buddy, come on. Let's do this thing. Can you do that for me? Try it. Let me show. Let me know how it turned. Go into the Facebook group if you have an LBI. We'll do a post about it actually when this comes out. We'll do a post about it, and you can tell me if you have an LBI, what do you do to get your dog's engagement up, right? Because these dogs are deep and they're loyal when you earn their trust. They don't need constant reassurance, but they need constant leadership. That's something that's true of everything, and you have to be somebody worth following, even when they're not moving. Okay? So when they do say yes, it's all wholeheartedly and it's earned. And you'll be like, I did it. I did it. And you're worth it. You are worth it. So there you go. That is the secret sauce for the Dogonality, the calm thinker, or the left brain introvert. Join us next time where we dive into the left brain extrovert. We're gonna stick with the thinkers, but we're going to move over to those extroverts. Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. We're going to talk about that on our next episode. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, can you do me a favor, my friend? And please share this with all your dog loving friends. Share it, share the quiz. Be like, what did you get? What did I get? Let me know inside the free Facebook group if it makes sense to you. Hey, if you're someone that got the answer and you're like, I don't really think this is my dog. Cool. Just let me know, and we can have a little discussion. We figure out which dog is more your Dogonality type. Let me know inside the Facebook group. Let's start some conversations. Maybe figure out what we can all do to be better stewards of our LBIs. Because if you got some ideas, I need some help too. Let's do this together. All right, listen, my friend. You know how much I love you. As always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks that you are, because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you inside the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only, and it's not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you are really struggling with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.